workshop, we're about half filled at this point.
Are you?
And we do have a sign-up sheet for that if you're interested.
Yeah, what's she gonna be speaking on, do you know? Is it?
Well, about documentary production
Uh-huh.
and covering all the basics on that. And it'll be down here and it's free of charge.
Okay, where's she from, do you know?
Yeah, she lives in Yellow Springs, Ohio. And Emma and Elvis is set mainly in a public access facility in, I think they shot it in Dayton, Ohio.
Okay.
Wonderful film. We're giving everyone a free bumper sticker tonight.
Okay.
It's an historic occasion. I've trained over 1,000 people.
Tonight?
Yeah.
So it's a big night. So the whole thing's on tape.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah, we'll do some cuts of.
Oh. Training workshop right here. Enter and sign in, please.
This guy came to visit today. Bill Hale they changed their name from Fred
Oh,
Kitty to
okay.
Northwest. And they have a satellite, and they'd be willing to pull down deep dish for us if that's how we want to do it. So, told him that he'd call back. And he'd like to be put on the mailing list. Do you think we could
Certainly,
do that?
yeah.
That's what I thought.
All right.
So,
Yes, someone was
Yeah,
just telling me. Oh, Dave Cornell. I've been talking to him about getting the high stuff running up there.
yeah. So I gave him some schedules, and he'd like to look over our schedule to see if there's stuff that they'd like to have. I said, you can check. I think that would be really great if we could start that.
Okay, and how you doing? I'm Randy. Welcome.
Hi.
Mary Canty.
Nice to meet you.
Hi. Good morning.
You go straight through
Hey, Ken.
this hallway here,
Sign in.
and see
Yeah.
how
Over here?
you pass the
This
exit
is,
sign
Randy.
down there to
This
the
is
right
Ken
hand
Lockwood.
side.
Nice to meet you. How you doing? Welcome. And then just grab one from each pile here. Yeah, we'll get started.
Excuse me. How's it going, Poop? Good. Did you have a good day? Yeah, busy day. I knew it was gonna be a pretty busy day. How about you?
You locked me out of the garage.
Did I? Yeah.
That's alright, I climbed over.
Oh, did you?
Yeah. Cleaned it all out, swept it, put
Your side, my side?
your side, put all the insulation and the Wurlitzer and all those windows and loose stuff.
In your.
All on my side, and there's still room for some of your stuff in there too.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Wonder bar.
Got all those brackets put up.
Oh, did you? Did you get more
And
glue and
more
get the L
glue,
brackets?
All in,
And did you cut any of those?
all done.
Oh, cool.
So yeah, and I ran 7 miles this morning. Ran it from the house to the M, up, and then all the way along the river up to Orange Street and down again.
Wow.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Wasn't tired until I stopped.
I had 2 classes, got my copies done, talked to Peg, worked at the office.
Talk to Peg. Seriously, talk to Peg. Can you
Pretty
save that
heavily.
for tomorrow?
Not bad at all.
I started the
Go ahead and sign in officially.
candle today. I mean,
Oh,
I
you did.
started.
You told her you weren't too happy and all that kind of stuff.
I just told her it was just too much.
Yeah,
I
grab
mean, I
one
got
from
too
each
much going on
pile
right
and
now,
we'll,
so
we'll cover most of it. Some of it may not apply.
we have 2 editing suites. And,
Welcome. Yeah, folks signing in for the workshop right here, and then everyone would grab one piece from each pile. That light
so,
green sheet.
yeah, I told her, I said, look, it's just too, you know, if that were
Oh,
full
there.
of, full of the plants, that's what we're doing. That's what I told her. Let's get the school, plus, you know, we have in the building, it's like I got 2 jobs. And I said, you know, just too much. So, I told her, I said, you know, she's really, of course she was right there. I forgot what we taped today. So I told her I'd see how the next couple days went.
On Saturday.
Well, when she gets back, I gotta pick her up here.
What time?
She doesn't know she's gonna come tomorrow.
School climbing plans, huh? I was just talking to Brad.
Oh, I forgot about that. so I can't do it. So, good day, busy day. But then Paul take off for the, I got better.
And we'll get started in about 5 minutes. We do have more folks coming on in. If in the meantime anyone needs a restroom or a bit of nourishment or a pop, they're all located out this way. And food's fine in here. We don't allow bottles in the studio, but cans of pop or snack. Oh, we also have a snack tray in the front room. A diversity of goodies. If everyone's had a chance to sign the sheet officially, and then just grab one from each pile.
Those are for tomorrow, and then on your checkout sheet or something.
Did he want number 4, or is that all that's available?
He must have requested it, I didn't usually see it. I know, it doesn't seem like that.
For your Tennessee short there.
And just so we do get started officially here, my name's Randy Ammon. Welcome, everyone. What's going on MCAT right now is an imported series, imported from Austin, Texas, program called Alternative Views, produced at a public access facility in Texas and was brought in here by a local sponsor. Kind of slightly left of center political interviews. This will be followed by a religious program out of Yakima, Washington, also an important program. Then later tonight, there'll be a Planet Wave special, a locally produced series for environmental issues. There's a special on hand, what do they call that? Gliders, hand-tossed gliders or something that was done partially in the studio. I only point that out to get an idea for the diversity of programming on this channel. Really, whatever you want to do, it's our job to help you do that. And there are very few things that you can't do with MCAT or with MCAT equipment. But there's a lot of room for exploration and creativity. Here's a much better channel. We're videotaping tonight because you're all part of history. We have been training for slightly under 2.5 years, and tonight we will go over 1,000 trainees for the basics. So, congratulations, everyone. We're giving away free bumper stickers tonight. It'll be a wonderful workshop. We do want to give folks a couple more minutes. We should have some more folks piling in. When you produce a program and we get it scheduled, we will guarantee that your program will start on time. Workshops and meetings are a little looser though. So again, if anyone needs a bathroom or refreshments, head out that way. The plan for tonight is to, we'll cover policies, procedures, what makes MCAT different than any other TV setup in the country. Then we'll take a short break, and then we'll get everyone trained on our 2 basic porta-packs. So by 8:30 tonight, everyone will be certified to check out this equipment and start producing. We're not going to be able to get into the edit rooms tonight, and how we like to handle that is that after tonight, if you have equipment available, or if you already have things on tape, that's fine. Or if you want to check this stuff out and go shoot some tape, we'll set up a time where one-on-one or in much smaller groups, we'll get you in the edit room and go over that, with a tape that you're familiar with the material. For those of you coming in, please do sign up on the list and grab one piece of paper from each pile. Hi.
Hi there.
I'll put a pitch in for a very special event coming up, and one of the sheets refers to this. There's a filmmaker named Julia Riker who has done a terrific documentary called Emma and Elvis. Actually, it's more of a feature. She's a documentary filmmaker, but this is a very entertaining movie and a very important movie. It involves topics of the activism of the 60s and romance, and it's all set in a public access TV place. So we encourage you. That's going to be shown at the Crystal on the 9th of October. Tickets are $6, and proceeds will come back to MCAT to help us. Julia is also doing a Saturday workshop on documentary production. So if you're interested in that, that's on the 10th of October, and that is being offered here at no charge. We do have a list to sign up, so before you leave tonight, you're welcome to sign up for the workshop, or we'll be glad to sell you a ticket. Let's see, how are our numbers doing here?
Yeah, how are they?
Pardon? Oh, we're getting close here. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay, there are a couple of more folks we know are coming, so we'll let them pour in. In the meantime, a real brief discussion of why we're seeing how television works here. What's happening is this camera.
That one.
Oh, one of these cameras is receiving reflected light as an optical image. Switching or us here. Anyway, these cameras are tied together in the control room, where for a studio shoot or a live program, you'd have a director back there, you'd have a camera operator on each of these, you'd have an audio person. At its very basic, what television is that it's a way of converting an optical image, taking a picture, going through the camera, and the camera, in this case the pickup chips, the image sensors, convert that optical image into an electronic image, an electronic representation of that picture, which is taken back through the cable. It's stored on videotape. That is just a magnetic warehouse. Tape stores that electronic image, and when it's played back, or in this case, it's kind of closed circuits passing through and coming back here, the TV set does the reverse function of the camera. It receives the electronic image, and through a high-speed scanning process, converts it back to an optical image. Nothing magic, but it's pretty neat. Video is immediate, meaning you tape something, you could rewind the tape, play it back, you don't send it out to be processed. If you don't like it, you can record over it. It is reusable, and it's easy. All the equipment, we selected here, we wanted to get the best quality for the money, but we also wanted to make the equipment as user-friendly as possible. So, with that out of the way, what do you think? Should we give a few more minutes?
Yeah, do people want a tour?
Yeah, good idea. You're in the studio/dining hall/meeting room. This is the old Missoulian building, and this is where they used to pull the trucks in. We do have some other rooms in the facility. If there are those of you who have not been through the MCAT facility, if you want the nickel tour, why don't you follow Mary out that way? Be careful, the floor slopes down slightly as you go out.
We're coming back this way, right?
Yes, yeah, we'll end up back here and get started with this workshop properly.
So Randy, if you want to set up a time for the, to get instruction on the edit time, you want the edit suite for you do the sign up and do today? What if I have
Yeah.
some stuff that I recorded before on 3/4 or something? Can we do that for instruction?
Yeah,
Or do you want new things?
well, for our basic editing
Uh-huh.
is SVHS or VHS only.
VHS,
And we'd
okay.
like folks to complete a project in there kind of as a proficiency test for getting into the, it's not, we can waive that, but if you have a time to even do like a PSA or something
Okay.
in the basics, then we'll get you going in there. Do you have are you working under a real deadline?
No,
timeline? Okay.
Just like a couple projects. Okay, so you have one editing suite which is 3/4 and then one which is VHS?
Yeah, and actually our edit 2
What I was
setup
saying
can
was-
start with an SVHS or VHS source, but it masters on to 3/4, and usually it's 3/4 to 3/4 in there. Yeah, we don't have any high 8 at this point, but we have a lot of folks shooting on that. Yeah, I'd like to get into that, but
Come on in, around this way, this is
I have a specific project in mind, and I wanted 3/4, and I didn't know we had to complete a project, but I want to put my major emphasis on the 3/4, so on the VHS, just, you have like whatever, how do you?
well, we prefer that, people actually go out and shoot something and, generate something that'll run on the channel.
Okay.
PSA,
PSA.
some music video, something.
PSA.
Yeah, that would
Yeah, I
be
was
great.
gonna say.
Oh,
service.
Public service.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
And then I'm
Um,
supposed to tell you, pay attention.
And then,
have fun.
we have all
Have
these
to flunk
advanced
you if you
levels
don't
of
pay
equipment too.
attention.
Some good stuff, the advanced porta packs, we use the portable configuration of these 3-chip Sony cameras with a 3/4 inch SP deck. Actually, one has a separate SVHS deck as well. We have a 2-camera remote, basically a studio on wheels. We can call out and train people in that. And if you have the interest and the patience with us, we'll teach you everything we know about.
And I'm sorry, I wasn't quite following. What about the Super 8? And do you have a machine for it?
We
or-
don't have any equipment in that format, but we do have people shooting on that and just bringing it in. We just dub across. We lose a generation.
Yeah.
But usually, if it's 3rd generation going out on the channel, it looks fine. Our wish list is quite lengthy. And these cameras, in fact, we purchased with the intention of getting a docking high 8 deck on the back, and it's a nice little portable unit. Well, hi, welcome you guys. Yeah. Well, if we could get everyone to sign in officially here. Oh, there.
The bridge is full. I was afraid it was going to fall in.
Yeah, go ahead and,
Can't beat it, huh?
Hi, Derek, how are you?
2 edit
Right.
suites.
Dan is the lucky contestant.
Once we shoot, I got a project already from Frank.
Which one?
how's our
Kelly
tour
Island
going?
project.
We're done.
You wanna do
All
a
right.
take
They're
home?
wandering.
Yeah, interviewing users and folks.
Hi, how you doing?
Yeah, welcome.
Yes, Mom.
Not open traffic to the,
Not my mom.
Street Business Club.
That's a good fruit.
Yeah.
What other bridge? There's another.
Oh, they're doing,
For something like that, would be fine, yeah.
it's
But I
closed?
thought this is really interesting, because you're talking
Reserve,
about
Van Buren.
1,000 people in training.
Not a day to drive around
Seven
town.
And if everyone can
Did you
sign in
grab one
officially,
of
please, and
every-
grab one sheet of paper from each pile.
You must be stiff.
Yeah.
You go. Grab some paper. Do it.
We got knocked on the camera tonight. I am at least.
Okay, well, this looks like critical mass ready to start the workshop with here. Welcome to MCAT, and welcome to a bit of Missoula history. We needed 2 folks to come in tonight to hit the 1,000 trainee mark in MCAT's history, which is about less than 2.5 years. And we've obviously done that tonight, so congratulations, everyone. And Dan, I think, was actually the 1,000th customer, so you get an extra bumper sticker. Yeah, we have been pleasantly overwhelmed since we opened the doors here, and this is a unique community, and we appreciate you taking off what I think is a pleasant evening out there to give us 3 hours of your life, and we'll teach you everything we know about access television, some communication theory, some First Amendment stuff, and then specific training on our basic camcorders. So again, welcome, and this is going to be a great workshop. My name is Randy Ammon. I am one of the staff down here, and I know it would help me if real quickly, we're a couple of minutes late, but if we could briefly, 25 words or less, swing around the studio, and if you could introduce yourself, let us know who you are and why you're here. If you have a special project in mind, if you have experience in video or related areas, and we'll start with this motley-looking group of.
This one in the middle. You're going first. Kind of squirrely tonight, It's okay. I'm Mary Canty. I'm co-assistant director of MCAT. I share the job with Lori Hudak, who is not with us tonight, but she teaches these workshops too. And my background is in video. I did work on a film project, a travel promotion series for the state of Montana many years ago. And now I'm here to help you basically work on your own productions, see if I can assist you, teach you anything that I might know, and answer your questions and see if we can get your productions done and get them on the air. So welcome to MCAT.
All right, thanks, Mary. Hi. Get you there.
Well, I guess I'm gonna get roped into doing this next stuff. My name's Carrie Hinkle, and I'm an independent producer here in Missoula, and I also work through JobQuest here at MCAT. So most of the time when you call or something, it'll be me or Mary answering the phones. And access television is a great thing to get into when you've got projects and things in mind to do. It's a really nice thing for us who don't have the money to get our own equipment to do stuff that can benefit the community and just have fun. So I think you'll really enjoy them.
I'm Andy Fogerson, and I started working here in the summer, and I'd like to get into this business after school. I found that this is the greatest place. You'll just fall in love with it. The people here are just the nicest in the world, and it's really great. I think my title is professional monkey wrench and football here. My title. So if you need something hauled out to your car or signed up for something, or if you just want to tease somebody, you feel I'm pretty good. Not.
Well, with Carrie and Andy's services this past summer, we have doubled our staff, which has been real nice, and the permanent staff, I guess you could call us, actually got to take some vacation time and get refreshed this summer, so we're ready for the autumn. And why you?
I'm Rick Pook, and I've worked on some film projects. I want to keep on making some independent pieces for MCAT.
Great, welcome.
Thank you.
My name's Ken Lockwood. I'm just new to town, 2 weeks. I've worked as an animator in Chicago and as a cameraman, and this is a great setup. Looking forward to working with it.
All right, well, we appreciate your talents coming in. Pick your brain.
I'm Jacob Fogerson. I just basically want to learn how to use the equipment and have fun doing it.
Yeah, give him some extra points for the Penn State shirt like that.
Yeah.
Welcome.
Hi, I'm Larry Miller, and I'm here to learn a career.
Well, welcome, Larry.
Thanks.
And Larry's helping us out down here doing some office volunteering a couple times a week, so we appreciate that.
My name's Craig Hodson. Basically, I like to just learn about the equipment, do some of my own, and I also work at the wastewater treatment plant. So we're thinking of doing some environmental documentary.
Great.
I'm Maria Louise, and I just moved here about 3 months ago from Denver. In Denver, I did the workshop through Mile High Cablevision.
Okay, well, great.
I'm Sherry Liz Caldwell, and I'm interested in the equipment. I'm an MFA student and was hoping to film my thesis so I didn't have to give it orally.
Good plan.
My name is Michael Bard, and I just recently graduated from the drama department with a technical emphasis. So the sound and lighting and whatnot's my forte, so I'm interested in this.
All right.
I've become involved in the drama dance in the technical aspect over the past 2 years, and I'm interested. He's actually got a minor in radio television, so I'm interested. My name's Carrie Ann Bard.
Okay, good combination.
I'm Linda Kiltz, and I do the public relations for Missoula County High Schools, and we kind of hope in using the video equipment to help education and publicize what's going on in education within the community.
Wonderful. Welcome.
I'm Jerry Neff, and I'm the curriculum director for Missoula County High Schools, and Linda and I are here for basically the same reasons. I got a video school news television program going in the last school district I was at in Nebraska, and moved here last year. So hope we may eventually do the same thing here.
Sounds great.
And we had worked on a grant with Mary to possibly start doing that.
Yeah, exciting stuff. All right.
My name's Brian Varner, and I'm a student at the University Study Management, and I learned about MCAT from Lori Hudak. She's offering an intern for MQTV, and I found about it, just interested in getting some hands-on experience with equipment.
Sounds good. And Dan.
Number 1,000.
I'm Dan Burkhart, and I just want to learn how to do this.
Good reason. Welcome.
My name is Dean Hall. I've always been interested in public access, and I look forward to learning all about it, and I can involve maybe looking at programs.
All right.
Thanks. Glad to be here.
My name is Bo Lamb. I'm a U student, and I would like to go into filmmaking and also put something fun on TV that's actually worth watching.
Good. All right.
I'm Mark Otis. I'm a senior at the U, and I've had quite a bit of experience with still frame photography, and I'm looking for a new creative outlet.
Terrific.
I'm Marlene Gray. I'm a sculptor. I don't count on using your video to get out of doing your master's work. I work in the environment, and I'm looking for a new tool to document.
Great.
I'm Winter, and I volunteer here, and they wanted me to take this class so that I would be able to advance. And I'm the one that you guys probably heard on your answering machines a lot. The one who called you.
Yeah, we appreciate the office volunteers as well as our production volunteers. Thanks for coming.
I'm Kathleen Pedersen, and I've been involved in performance art and radio theater for a while, and so I'm the branch out 'cause I love the woman behind the camera thing. I like that.
All right. Well, all very good reasons for being here, and this is the point. I wish we could sit down and one-on-one talk for half an hour on what you just said. To move things along, though, we won't do that. And out of fairness, my name's Randy Ammon, and I am here because, 25 words or less is rough for this. I probably, like others in here, are from the generation that grew up in front of a TV set, where I'd come home from elementary school and I'd turn on the TV and watch game shows and situation comedies and cartoons. I'd do my homework in front of the TV and eat meals in front of the TV, and went along like this. And this was suburban Philadelphia, and every household I knew at the time had at least one room where you walk in the room and there's the TV, and every piece of furniture is pointed towards the TV. The whole flow of the room is designed around where this TV set is. And television at the time was a passive viewing experience for everyone except a few rich white guys who called the shots. So when I got to Penn State and learned about this public access television, using the tools of video, but instead of a closed system and a passive system, a system where everyone in an access environment is at least a potential producer, can be a decision maker as well as a viewer. That struck me as pretty worthwhile and certainly the most democratic use of this powerful medium. I managed to work for 4 years at a real funky two-way interactive cable system for senior citizens. Not like any of the TV I had watched as a kid, but a way of enhancing community communications. Moved to the Northern Rockies in the form of Pocatello, Idaho in '81 to manage a community access channel. And in Pocatello, I was one of many, many consultants called in by a group here in Missoula who was starting to explore community cable television. And the more I spent time in Missoula, the more I talked to these people, the more I realized that things were being done right here. Years and years of groundwork went into MCAT before there really was an MCAT. And Mary had a lot to do with that, a lot of names, a lot of people worked for a lot of years to get to the point where MCAT could open its doors about 2.5 years ago. I had never seen a community as ripe for access television as Missoula was at the time, and I came in with real high expectations, and they've all been shattered. We've been pleasantly overwhelmed down here with just the amount of participation from this community. And in nearly a decade in Pocatello, I think we trained about as many people as Missoula has in 2.5 years. So again, congratulations, and you live in a good spot. There's an amazing community. To keep me in line, though, so I don't go off on too many tangents, let's turn to this MCAT handbook. Printed up on some letterhead. We'll cover a lot of the other contracts and policies. We may not get to some stuff. This is not a prepared monologue, so your questions, comments, and humorous anecdotes are always welcome. And the plan for tonight is let's plow through policies, procedures. We'll just tell you some basic things, go over the few things you can't do on MCAT or with MCAT equipment, and charge up your imagination to the myriad of things you can do and are encouraged to do on MCAT. We'll then break shortly and come back, and everyone's going to get trained on these 2 basic porta packs. So by 8:30 tonight, everyone will be certified on this equipment, encouraged to check stuff out and start producing. From there, we'll set up editing appointments, get in the edit rooms one-on-one, and we have all kinds of advanced equipment, studio production, different levels in the edit room, advanced porta packs, a 2-camera remote. So if you have the interest and if you have some patience with this small staff, we'll teach you everything we know about all the stuff we got here. We'll also pick your brains for your specialized areas of knowledge. Okay, page 1, MCAT handbook. Well, before page 1, this was printed up in March of '90 with the intention of revising it every couple of months. We've simply not had a chance to do that yet. We're also going to make it look slicker and all, but hey, it's functional. Some things have changed here. There are some revisions that need to be made. In any event, MCAT is short for Missoula Community Access Television, with an equal emphasis on each of those words. We use the tools of TV, but we don't play that we're a broadcast or commercial TV station. Our main emphasis here is we're in the community, and specifically we're in Missoula. We have people in Missoula doing programming of interest to other folks in Missoula, and it's a way of using the electronics to share information with our neighbors. Access is important. In this sense, access to equipment, access to the training, and access to a forum using a cable channel at no charge You don't have to be rich anymore to get your views out on TV. That's what we're here for. MCAT is a nonprofit organization incorporated in 1988. The philosophy of access, we've hit upon this. It's basically that every individual and every organization in a community has a bit of information to get in, or a lot of information. Maybe a story to tell, or a talent to share, or just some way of sharing information with neighbors. And it wasn't that long ago that probably the most effective way to do that would be to go down to the park, stand up on a soapbox, and just start talking to anyone who would listen to you. You could talk about pretty much anything you wanted to, and when you got done, you stepped off, someone else stepped up, and they could agree with you, disagree, or talk about something completely different. Well, access television is an electronic soapbox. It's an electronic Tom Paine, we've heard it called. It's a place where we invite any and all ideas, views from a community. And if you look at our program schedule, the yellow sheet is one starting Sunday. You can see the diversity of programming really covers the map. We have some things on here, School District 1 specials, we have religious programs, we have music programs, the weekly city council meetings. We've got leftist views, we've got rightist views, we've got centrist views, we've got guys who brew and drink their own beer on camera. Lots of diversity, and we truly believe that there is strength in diversity.
Can people also watch these tapes here?
Yes, a very good point. The signal for MCAT goes out only on cable channel 7 on the TCI system. So we do encourage folks to come in while the tapes are scheduled and watch here, or to set up a time. We make all of the programs available for viewership a week before and a week after, at least, when they run. So just give us a call and we'll get the tape rolling for you. Because that's one of the real frustrations of trying to be truly accessible to the entire community. A lot of folks can't afford cable, or choose not to have a TV in their house, or happen to live in a part of the city that has a different cable operator, like the Rattlesnake, who still has not negotiated a franchise with the city and still is not running MCAT up there. In fact, a much larger percentage of MCAT producers do not own TV sets than the general public, if that made sense. We have a lot of folks who refuse to watch TV, they'd rather make TV. Anyway, let's see here, we can skim along some of this. Community access television can also be called PEG access. PEG standing for public education, or educational access, and government. We talked about the city council meetings. There's a good example of a local government using the local cable channel to get information out to constituents. Many city departments have made use of the facility. We'd like to get the county more involved and get the county commissioner meetings going out as well. Educational programming, we're delighted to have representatives from the county high schools here tonight. We have been doing a lot with individual teachers, individual classrooms, and individual students, but on there's so much more that our educational institutions can be doing with a channel of this type. We've had live programming from Hellgate High School. We've had a lot of classes do projects. We've done a lot in conjunction with the university, specifically the Mansfield Lecture Series. Many of the speakers' presentations go out live on MCAT as they play to overflowing audiences up there as well. And then everything else would fall into the category of public access, the true First Amendment forum, where anyone can produce programming on anything they'd like, as long as it's not commercial and not unlawful. And we'll talk about specifics here in a couple pages. As for right now we're combining the P, the E, and the G all on this one cable channel, but somewhere down the road we will have 3 local cable channels, possibly differentiated as a public access channel, a local educational channel, and a local government channel. That's a ways off, but it's something that will happen here sooner or later. As for the MCAT history, we hit upon a lot of this, the groundwork that went into this, and Mary really was here in the trenches fighting to convince the city that they should franchise with the cable operators, TCI being the largest, and then convince the city that they should further bring some of the franchise money that they receive from TCI Cable, which right now is about $160,000 a year, to bring that back to the community in some cable television related use. And Mayor, do you want to say anything about the history I'm glossing over here?
Well, hang on a second, I'm just getting a cutaway here. What we're going to finally do tonight, the reason that we're doing this, we don't actually videotape every single workshop, but we finally realized that we really need to get some cutaways from some of the classes to use in our own promotionals and that kind of thing. So we're trying to do it like quiet mice, but you'll have to pretend just not to pay attention to us. No, there really isn't anything, different. It was definitely a community effort that got this started. It was a concerted effort, and it's a community effort that's going to keep this going. Because, as you can imagine, as Randy's going to get into in a little while, there's some programming that everybody loves, and there's some programming that everybody can't stand. So, we tend to be controversial because Missoula has lots of different viewpoints, and they're represented here on the channel. So, and I'm not, since I was doing camera work, I'm not sure what you got up to in the history.
Well, that's basically it. Just the grassroots work that went into laying the foundation. What, 14 years back?
Yeah, now I know. A while ago.
Well, the result of citizens working with elected officials was a franchise with TCI, and following that, a contract between the City of Missoula and the nonprofit organization MCAT. We're now in the 4th year of this 5-year contract. We are funded to the tune of $100,000 per year, which ain't bad. It's more money than I have in my wallet right now. In terms of running a TV station for a year, for $100,000 though, it's pretty shoestring. We couldn't do it without loads of volunteers. We wouldn't want to do it without loads of volunteers. Also in the franchise with TCI, there was $170,000 for startup equipment. So all of the cameras we're using, the porta-packs, the revisions of the studio, the lighting grid, the office furniture, it all belongs to the City of Missoula. And you can see shiny little property of the City of Missoula stickers and everything. And for those of you who know Chuck Stearns, you can picture Chuck putting those shiny stickers and everything. MCAT leases the city equipment for $1 a year, which is not a complaint, and we are paid up for $92, I'm pretty sure. We tried to convince the city this past year that since their franchise fee collections have gone up almost 60%, and that our service population has gone up at least 28%, which is the city limits population through annexation primarily, that it would make sense, and that the community was using this facility and this equipment much, much more than anyone in their right mind would have predicted. We thought we had a good argument to get our annual operating budget increased. That did not happen this summer. We're on the verge of renegotiating our contract and trying to convince the city that there is this demand, and that, I digress. Operations down here, it's a very small staff. The staff are facilitators. We all have production backgrounds, but in our jobs here, we don't have time to produce much. We try to do some promotional things, try to programming for MCAT by actually reimbursing a producer for time and talent. Many organizations simply don't have the staff or the staff time to come through the workshop and do the entire production, so they basically hire out someone. And that's fine as long as everyone realizes that there can be no charge for the use of the equipment or the channel time. And the board of directors last night just voted to put a 15% maintenance fund fee on these program contracts starting October 1st. So for some of the more active producers that are working under these third-party contracts, that'll just bring some money back in to help us keep things in repair. Technical standards we'll go over in the edit rooms with you. Just some specific things there for cable casting, playing the tapes. Music we've pretty much talked about, and that's basically what you're getting into. Questions? Terrific. Okay, these are all yours to hang on to. Let's break for literally 3 minutes. If anyone needs restrooms or pop or something, they're out in the hallway that away. If anyone needs a smoking break, outside is that away. And when you come back in, don't get too comfy. You're going to be up here doing quite a bit. So, thank you.
Drink water.
If someone wants a copy of the tape here, we'd rather not tie up the edit room doing that. So we rewire some decks in the control room just down across. And the producer of the program gets one dub at no charge.
Okay, but what I was saying is when you're producing, you could you dub it on the edit room, make your own personal copy while you're in school.
If you let us know, yeah, that would be your one free dub. We don't want to tie up the machines with all kinds of personal dubs.
Okay. Okay. And so what do you record your final project on?
Usually we master edit onto a super VHS tape or a 3/4 inch SP.
Okay, so the super VHS should just go on the camera, so
Well, we have field production equipment in both of those formats, but the basics are super VHS.
Okay, I understand.
And we can work with regular VHS tape as long as it's recorded at the SP speed, the 2 hour, as opposed to the 6 hours.
Sure, okay.
Cake, I think it'd be fun to do, be out there real early and get up in like that blind and watch the inside intercut it with your place, and then I live in this community now, we're out there, and then the auto graveyard thing.
We'll do a nice storyboard for it, so then we can pick up all the shots on one day or so.
Well, and special thanks to the two of you who included your zip code on the sign-up list.
Yeah, that'll be fun to sit down and go just kind of figure it out. Storyboard, yeah. That way we'll pull the shots together and we can have an edit list too.
Sounds good. Sounds quick. When do you need to have that?
No time for it. I was thinking tonight, go home and work on the screen sheet, write the project thing up, come in tomorrow and see when the availability of the week.
The producer of
the roof tonight. What do you mean?
Planet Waves program and kind of the overseeing series producer, just except for the job up at Salish Kootenai College. So we've lost him. He was on our board of directors also. And Paul Hart, but I think he shot this. He was in school back at Temple in Philadelphia.
It's a lot more.
It was like the Philadelphia Zoo.
Good work, you were speedy tonight.
Well, it was a wonderful group. Yeah.
Who did it?
They also got info on engineering rescue.
Shoots to the minute.
Oh, Brad.
There is.
And then Brad
told
told me that
reception
the
area
guy
we
that
have
we
up
need
there.
for areas
Oh,
that are
okay.
close to him. It's kind of funky local made tell you
problem
where to
here.
go and then
We used to
closer
use
to
a
the
bunch of the
wall. Oh, really?
cardboard boxes
You talked to him
and keep
today?
sitting all the
So where's
kids
the
found their way
finding guy at?
pop jams especially.
Oh, you picked him up? No, I didn't. I didn't know. I didn't talk to him till after I went there today.
Yeah, and our
I
front,
stopped and got a cup of coffee.
our front
across the
room, right
street,
before you
waiting
go
for
to
you
the
to walk by.
hallway.
Oh, I walked by every time. It was
So I'm
pretty
gonna
funny
clean
because
that
I was
well.
sitting right beside the guy's table. He's here now too. So how was Brett? Tracking very long? Not too long because it got kind of busy. It's just kind of recommended that.
No.
It's really hard to talk.
Yeah, it's a slightly different team,
I
and
tried
it's
to
a
call
different
Justin.
recording process.
I talked to his mom.
So actually,
his mom, so
any
twice, but he was
super
better.
V
What else did you find?
I called him last week. I did do it twice, okay,
but
because
the
I talked
reverse is
I saw him play class. He really wants to do a wildlife enhancement program.
it'll go through the motion
And
of
I'm going to go talk to
something
Lee
recorded on
Bastian tomorrow morning.
Yes, I do. If I got a regular machine, you'll see some of the imaging, but it'll be a lot of ghosting. In the regular VHS style, 1.5
Are you?
VHS.
I think she would have said that was going on.
Or in these machines, there's a switch. They click on, you get the VHS recording. That particular will play.
I know you know I was doing the show for Lori this morning.
But for production.
You made it. You made it through
the
the hard part.
VHS is so much.
Well, actually, we're
That
not
was the hard
going
part.
to.
We're in luck.
Yeah, we're in luck. That's it. We're not going to be using these chairs, at least not like this. So if you want to pick up your things and move the chairs back a little bit, we'll actually need some of the space in the studio. Right, since we get to stack them and unstack them regularly.
You can.
You school people, you're really good at this, right?
Hey, yeah. High school people especially, the kids like go. Hey, I can say that. I was a high schooler once.
Remind me never to talk about my
Do you always want us to stack these or?
I guess they look like these front rows have to be stacked, or those back two. We might actually want to use one or two of these out front. We're going to want to get part of this, so do you want to see that the cameras are set up to what you're getting in the other room? Okay. We'll go ahead and get started. Since everybody's back and so prompt, so well behaved, this group. What we do is we're going to train you tonight on PortaPack 1 and PortaPack 2. I think Randy mentioned it to you. It's the SVHS gear, and we ask that you get started on our most basic gear because if you learn the basics tonight about how to operate this equipment, you can apply that to basically everything else that we have here. So we're going to divide up into two groups and have half of you on PortaPack 2, half of you on PortaPack 1. So if you want to come forward, the rest of this is hands-on. Your turn, not ours, okay? So when you check out a PortaPack from us, we'll say, you know, what do you need and when do you need it? You can pick it up 11, 1, or 5 p.m. And what you get with that when you ask for the equipment is you get a PortaPack case with a camcorder inside. And hopefully all the knobs are where they're supposed to be, and the tripod plate is tight on the bottom. There's an AC adapter in there to be able to plug into regular old AC power, which we're going to do tonight, an instruction manual, a line adapter which allows you to record into this deck and as well as off of this deck onto your own home machine if you'd be interested in doing that. This is an accessory bag that comes along with it. The accessory bag has a microphone inside and a headset, earphones. You now call them headsets, sorry, in video land. Microphone cable, a microphone extension cable, an extension cord, flashlight, handy dandy, a base for your mic stand, which is in your mic case, and then inside on some of the pockets here, if you want to open that gray bag, that doesn't have as many pockets, but it has all the same stuff. We have a couple of adapters for outlets, electrical outlets, and we have some cleaning fluid and tissue for the lens.
And we try and keep up. This equipment has just been incredibly used over time. We try and keep up with repair and maintenance. But it's up to you two to tell us if it all operated correctly, if there's anything we need to pay attention to, because that's how we get our cues that we need to fix something on them.
Do you want effects on there, or do you want just straight mixes?
Just mixes.
That's what I thought.
Andy. Okay, so when you're setting things up, now we'll also ask you how many batteries and how many videotapes you need.
He's
As
not
Randy
liking
mentioned, as Randy mentioned, you get up to 10 tapes per project, and the batteries, they generally run for about an hour to 2 hours. We have some now that are older and aren't running as long, and we want to try and pull those. So it's up to you once again to let us know, oh, this one didn't last as long. Always take at least one extra battery with you. And when you can, you have to realize that battery power, when it breaks, when it's gone, it's spent, it will create a break in the tape where you have to stop for a moment and put another battery in. So if you're concerned about that, you should try and just run off regular AC power. Okay, so to start with, we start working with the tripod first. We start from the base up. We've supplied you with very good tripods. The reason for that is these camcorders, as you know, are getting lighter and lighter as time goes on, and that kind of makes for volcanic video. You know, you get video that's just really shaky. Even if it doesn't look like that so much to you when you're shooting, by the time you bring it in and put it up on a big TV set, it's pretty disruptive to the viewer. So we've supplied you with quite expensive, very nice tripods. They're called fluid head tripods, and the base for them are called dollies. And that's because a wheel base like this is called a dolly, okay, on any tripod. So even on the tripods in the studio, there are dollies right now. These dollies are useful on smooth surfaces. They're not as useful for outside or any kind of rough surface. But let's say you're shooting a conference or a presentation, you need to get around quickly once your camera is set up. This would be something you would consider to put it on this. The tripod itself, and we ask that these loosen, this knob right here loosens the legs and brings the legs down. We ask you to tighten these, but just tighten them enough so that the leg holds. When we first started using this equipment, we get it back from the first time users, and this stuff would be so cranked down that we would spend, 10 or 15 minutes trying to loosen it up. So just tighten it. It's designed so you just need to tighten it to where it will stay. Okay, if you want to pull the legs out, and there's a little ball at the end of each leg, you go ahead and then you can. Let's not make it too tall to begin with, because there's some short people here. By the time we get the camera on this, it'll be fairly tall. Just eyeball it and try and match it up just for the moment. Then I'll show you how to really level it. Okay, and here's the handle. We can pull the handle up a little bit in order to spread the legs. Now, go ahead and pull on that leg there, and notice that it'll spread out, and then stick that little ball into the dolly. Little click happens there. You want to skip? Skip. Skip. Okay, now, there's no way for us to tell if this is level with the surface area beneath it, but if we just are eyeballing it, but you can kind of see it might be off just a little bit here. We can do that by using this level bubble, okay? And you want to do that before you put the camcorder on, because once you put it on, if this is level, then what's on top of it will be level too. You don't want to shoot when one of the legs is really down like this. I mean, you can see what that's going to do to your video. You can see that having it level is actually a visual concern. And so there's a little level bubble provided right here, okay? And you don't have to get it exact, but it is nice to get it at least in the range.
Lockdown one.
Okay. And I'm going to let you guys do this. I don't want you to spend all class on it. I've had a couple classes where it's like, okay, that's level, and I mean, it's just like people are into getting it perfect, And it doesn't have to be absolutely perfect, but you do have to get it close. So go ahead, and I want you to feel what these legs feel like to move them, okay? How do you do that? And what does it feel like to set this up?
If
So
you'd like to unlevel it,
work
level
with
it
it a little
again
bit.
to get used to it, go ahead.
Surveyor's tripods, right?
There you go.
I did this for a living.
Go ahead and
in
level
air
it.
defense artillery.
Yeah. Let's look at all those shells.
Carrie and I have had a fair amount of practice on these things, so
We'll let you do it.
we'll let you do it right.
Smile.
Why, Andy's in there making me a bouncing ball.
Yeah, I
boing,
know,
boing,
hit your
boing,
head
boing.
on
Yeah,
this
I
thing.
know. Hi,
I told him
Andy.
I didn't think he'd like
Nice and
that.
dull.
Guess what?
What?
The effects thing was on, so I got like that much effects on.
That's
Oh.
alright.
I'm sorry.
Imagine
Looks pretty
that.
good.
No, really?
That's
Oh my
right.
God, I didn't know it was on.
Oh, too much there. I went in there and switched it and it was star out of nowhere.
Today
I was like,
you
wow.
should have seen him when he did to these poor people.
Oh, you used the quad. Okay.
Okay, this tripod, one of the things that the tripod does besides providing a nice stable base for you to operate from, it has two different movements besides just the dollying. It's got a pan movement, which is right, left, left, right, and it's got tilt. Okay, and again, the reason that you'd want to do that with the tripod instead of handheld is it'll just be much smoother. And the idea of having a fluid head tripod is the fluid actually provides some resistance to your motion that allows the motion to be much smoother. So the mechanisms here to do that then are these knobs on the left-hand side of your tripod head. This is the back of your tripod.
That's the same with this too.
And here are the knobs for that. And you have the pan mechanism,
Just
and
check
you have
resistance.
You don't, yeah.
check that handle really tight.
You don't need to tighten these
Okay,
down
so you'd have tilt.
unless you're like
Now,
loading the camera.
you can also switch this to 0, which is
That way
basically
everyone can
turns
get a
the
chance to
fluid
feel
head
it.
off. Okay, it totally frees the head from the tripod base. And you just do that.
And
if you
not
only
very
move one
often do you
direction,
wanna
so there's
set it on
nothing
that
tricky
real-
about that. It's
Like
up
one.
to you.
Yeah.
This
If
is
you're-
better for fast
If you're doing like
action,
me, I
you
do
know,
a lot of
something like
real
track
fast
events,
fast
something like
action
that,
stuff, so
where you're going
I keep it on
you're trying to
real
make
loose
the
a
camera
lot
move as
because I have
quickly
to move
as
real
the
fast.
action itself.
But if you're just
Most
doing
of
an
the time
average,
you'll
you
use it
know,
on fluid
taping,
head
you
like
don't really
this,
want to have,
because
because then you'll
it
get
does-
over.
It provides a little bit of resistance to your
And you'll like go,
This is
oh,
pretty-
where'd my
Yeah.
subject
There's also
go, you
the
know,
other
because
tilt.
it really does
Okay.
move.
Or the one setting
makes a
here.
big
There's only two settings, 0 and 1.
The vertical.
So,
Turns to
and what's
center.
real important about remembering this, what you need to remember about it, is that instead of moving the camera on top of the tripod, which is what your tendency is at first, when you're first
Well, it
using
has
this
some weight
equipment,
on
is
top.
to use the
Yeah.
tripod instead. And you really never
really-
have to, when you're
these are
shooting, have
very
the
nice
pan,
tripods.
tight down, because
when
there's
you're
no
out
way that
there
that's gonna move unless you move it.
Taping,
Whereas
you're
with
thankful
the
you
tilt,
have
and this
these.
is important on our more
I have
expensive
used some
equipment,
very
it is important to remember to
interesting
lock that
tripods in
down
my time.
wherever you're going to be primarily shooting, and then loosen it gently as you need to. The reason for that is that cameras sometimes are not balanced on top of the tripod, and if you leave the tilt loose, you can walk away and the camera will either go like that or fall back on its own. If you're more comfortable with having the handle on the other side, you can just loosen the knob all the way, pull this handle off, switch it to the other side, and tighten it back on. So it's a shooting style decision. There isn't really any benefit one way or the other. It's up to you. So if folks want to feel that part of it, of the movement that you get, then we'll get the camcorder out.
Go ahead and check it out.
Are you cable casting, Andy? Okay.
Is he?
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't even think about that.
I know.
When I'm
I
doing this,
automatically,
don't
even at home.
Yeah, you know, that's more
On the hour.
On the hour, I
Yeah.
tend to do that, but.
Now,
ahead of ya.
the other point about using the pan mechanism on the tripod is that these tripod plates are not permanently mounted
Use
to these camcorders.
the tripod,
The reason for
not
that is
the
that we'd
camera.
like to be able to use these tripods with
turn
other
your
cameras,
camera.
and we'd like to use the cameras on other
Yeah.
tripods. So, we do provide you with a screwdriver, because the one major accident we had was
These
that
come off.
somebody, the first month that we had these, we didn't realize how much
People
of a
tend
problem this could
to
be,
pan like
and the
this,
camera got real
and it
loose on
loosens up
top
the
of the
screw.
tripod and fell off onto
And
a
so
concrete floor.
I always
finally.
try
So,
and
yeah.
use the
So,
tripod to.
we do ask that you check
And make
this,
sure
like
this
right
is
now it's
tight
quite
when you
tight
put it on.
and good. And there's a little screwdriver right in here provided for you to check it yourself. If you're not messing with it, if you're using
Like
the
an airline
pan, the right-left
here.
movement on the tripod, there's no reason that this would come loose. So you don't have to be overly concerned about it, you just have to be aware of it and use the tripod correctly. Okay. Now, in order to, what you're doing there is moving the handle and not the tilt. In order to do the tilt, loosen this right here. There you go. The back of the tripod plate is this red knob, the back of the tripod. Okay? And this plate just slips right into this little area here. You pull this red lever over to where the bolt is flat on that one side. Stick in the tripod plate, release the lever. Again, you don't have to crank on it. Once it's over, it's tight. And
yeah, this is another
never,
thing.
this is the, like the
she's
best
saying,
trick I ever
don't
learned in video.
reef on
Never
this
release
to
the
close
camcorder
it.
till
You
you
just
give it a
have to
little
let it
jiggle
just
and you're sure
pop
it's
back.
on.
And
Because I
it's fine.
promise you'll be shooting an event of
get a
some
lot of
kind, you'll be
times
late
they
for
come in
setup,
and
you'll be in a
it's-
hurry,
can't get it
you'll go and
off.
say, oh, that's on, and you're on to the next thing because you're in a rush, and it's not. And I've had cameras myself fall in my hand several times just because I held on until I was sure that it was really on. To release it then, you just pull the red knob back over, pull straight up, and it'll come off, okay? But you usually slip the front plate in first and then down. Okay,
And
I'd
don't-
like everybody to try that.
Don't push the little red knob in, you know.
Crank
You
it.
don't have to push it in to make sure that it's solid in there. Because you'll find if you do, like the kind of work I do, I end up halfway through the thing ripping the camera off and running with it. And if you've got a thing, and those get stuck, majorly stuck if you reef on them.
That, we had
That
that
was
plate
handmade.
made, yeah.
Works, huh?
That plate's never come up. No, that's not true.
All right, Mr. 1000.
We're expecting a lot out of you now.
We're watching, really.
Reputation to live up to, huh?
Yeah.
No, they said don't do that.
He was testing you to see if you were paying attention.
Man, is that simple?
That simple.
Really?
That was special made.
Yeah, that
We
plate
kept
was-
losing that plate, so we
Yeah.
got a new one.
Okay, while folks are finishing that up, then the next thing, and we're basically doing this just as you would do it on a production for yourself, you'd be concerned about getting power to it because it's not going to do anything at all until it has some source of electrical current. And your two choices are battery power and your AC adapter. You want to pull out the AC adapter there? And the battery, you guys, has an arrow on it. So this end first, okay? And the green dot on the back means that we have charged this for your use. So if you were going to use this, you would take this off tonight and say, oh, I've used it, so that when you bring it back to us, we
And even
know
if
to
you've just
recharge
used it for 3 minutes.
Okay? It slips right into the back
Pull it
here
off, so we can
until
return.
you hear a little click. Okay? So in order to get it out, and this is kind of funny, this battery eject is not just a straight push in, it's push down and in order to get it out. We spent- We wrestled that one day. Oh, we're pushing in.
All right,
But it doesn't work if you just push in, you've got to push it
You
down.
have to push it down and in.
Okay?
It
The
should
AC
pop out.
adapter also only goes
There
in
it
one
goes.
place in the
Not
back
popping
here, so
tonight.
you go ahead, you find it, right where the battery is. Do you want to pull out the, let's see here, I see it, I got it.
It should just pop right out of there. I don't know why it's not. It's having to fall out.
Is it having to fall out? That's what I was just telling these guys. Now, sometimes I've had a problem with that when I've just pushed straight in instead of down and in, but
We were pushing down.
it might be just old times.
This is an AC adapter.
Okay.
Very, very
Is AC current.
Does anyone not understand how that works?
We plug this in?
You plug it in and you think we rehearsed that? We honestly didn't. Everything that happens here happens uniquely every
do
time.
that near water, right?
Yeah, right.
Sorry. Sorry, Andy.
No problem.
Okay, I don't think you guys need me to let you practice plugging this in. I have confidence in all of you. That's reassuring. Confidence.
Okay, however, the AC, I mean,
Although I have
still, we
seen
haven't
people
turned
try-
this on yet. So even though we have current running
Plug
to
in
this now, we
3
haven't
prongs.
turned it on.
Plugs
If
into
we're gonna
2
use
prongs.
regular old AC power, we come over here, we turn this on first. And it's just on-off switch, okay? Right now, it's, what it was doing was telling us it was
On,
charging
off.
the battery.
Okay.
Push it into
On. Did a red light. And it needs to be on VCR or it won't work.
You either choose this.
Okay, if it's on TV, you won't have
And what you want to do is you always begin turning everything on closest to the source of power. That's true for computers, video equipment, everything. So you start here, and then you move up here, and you power on right here.
And there's a little thing
So
on the
there's a
back of
little
the camera
power
looks
on
just
light
like
that
this.
comes on here. Same thing when we're done for tonight. The thing we would do is we'd power off here first. We'd go
Just
back,
like this, and then it goes in
back
it.
closest
I
to the
never
source
force
of power off
anything,
here.
that's another thing.
Before we
Sounds
pull
like
the
common
plug-in
sense,
cord.
but
So we also
people
don't
tend
want to
to
turn
do
this
it.
on and then plug it in. You want to
oh, it
plug
won't go
everything
this
in,
way,
then get
try
your
it
power
another
on.
way.
The
Because
reason for
usually
that is
there's
it
a little trick.
causes surges,
Like with this,
power
there's a little
surges,
lip
and
on
it
this one,
can
right here.
So
There's also a
that's
little lip on
handy
your
rule of
little hole
thumb.
here, and it'll fit right in perfectly.
you.
If things don't go,
Okay. So,
Just real
right now
easy.
we're running on AC.
Try
This thing
and
would be running directly. If we
play
just
with them.
unplug this, it would be running off a battery. It knows to do that. We don't have to do a switch or anything like that. It just knows what to do. Now, you don't want to step on these cables for the most part. You have a lot of information running through video cables. You don't. You want to know where this is.
Very
So I
important.
usually just stick it right there, so that I know.
And you don't want
and I'm
people
not
kicking it
around,
either,
and
so.
I'm not sitting on the cables. This is the viewfinder. This is a little TV set so you can see what's going on. You can pull that around. It's stored like this with the eye cup up. When you're done with it, I mean when you're getting ready to use it, then you would pull it around to one side. Take your lens cap off. This is a rule you will forget.
Yeah.
This is one of the rituals you have to go through as a new producer. We promise.
don't
Some
get
of
in
this
front
stuff,
of
no
them.
matter what we would tell you, you have to
We're not
go through
on
it.
yet,
That's
though.
just the way it is. Okay, you'll get everything set up and you go, I can't see anything. It's all black.
I'm gonna lower this just so you can
What
see.
did I do? You didn't do anything. Okay, next thing we're gonna do is load the tape. Hit the eject button. All Panasonic
Yeah,
buttons
eject
are
is right
blue
here.
for eject. Okay, a key to the editing room too, okay? So hit eject, the tape casing pops out. Your videotape's over here behind you. Okay, and basically the way that I think about it, you know, because again, this will be until you get really
Guts
used to it,
to
which you will
guts.
quickly. It's like, well, how does
On
the
a
tape
tape.
go in? Well, I always
Goes
think
in.
guts to guts, okay?
And that's, it just
here's
helps
the
you to
inner part
remember
of
when
the
you're
tape.
under pressure
Here's the
and
inner part of the machine.
needing to pop a tape in.
Slip it in, like so. You never, you just want to gently, and this is kind of a tip too, they say instead of using one finger, use two, because as you can see, these tape casings tend to get loose over use with time. And actually, this one's just been tightened up, and the machine has just been gone over, but still, when you never have to force this or really, just make sure, just push in real gently until you hear the click. Okay? So I'd like you to try that on your own. I'd like you to load the tape. You. Start with you. Any questions
You'd be shocked
so
though when
far?
you're under a real stressful, pressured situation and you gotta throw tapes in. How many times tapes get tried to be put in the wrong way?
Yeah, you never have to force
I've had
it.
crews go, this tape won't go in. I was
You're
like,
going,
well,
yes,
yes it will. Turn it around the right way.
I know. That happened like the first week. And that happened because I think it got pushed pretty hard. So.
Never,
These
never,
tapes
ever
are
force.
2-hour tapes. They don't, there's no extended or long play or anything like that. So when you're planning your production, know that that's the length of time that you have.
This way, right?
They work, but I would.
I don't know. Are you sure?
No.
depending on what you're doing. You know, like me, most of my work is in music, so I wouldn't even dream of even making
Hour
one.
slot, whatever you want.
Yes.
Live music or dub it over?
Live music.
In fact, I was noticing tonight, the
But when
otter
I do-
lengths sometimes
When I
are
do
shown
use
a
one of
lot
these cameras, I always
because
set
we have different gaps, like we have a 24-minute program, so if somebody makes a 6-minute program, we use a lot because we'll plug it in to fill that space until we get up.
It comes in.
Oh, does it? Okay.
So, and you can get the, oh, are you here for the workshop? Oh, well, welcome.
Do you want it in, or are we gonna be using it?
Yes.
Yeah,
leave it
we'll
in,
be
'cause
using
we will
it.
be
Did you,
using it.
oh, you hooked us up. Andy, you hooked us up. Did you hook us up? No.
We were hooked up from
Oh,
our
I
way.
see. Yeah, can you hook us up? I can't, is this working now?
Hooking up in
Adapter
progress.
1? We'll see.
Hooking up is in progress.
Okay, sounds good.
Should we hook up that other little monitor?
Heard you
so
guys
that we have
talking.
2 cameras at the same time? Or it's gonna be like-
I don't think you can on that monitor. I think that's a different.
Is it
kind
just
of
the
thing.
one?
Yeah, it's just a readout center monitor. Okay, so we have our power on, we have our tape in, and probably the next thing you would worry about would be audio, but I'm not gonna worry about that yet. Well, right now, until we plug in our microphone, which is right below this microphone is live. But we provide you with another microphone because this is the world's worst microphone, okay? This sounds like fishbowl. This is what's known as an omnidirectional microphone. It picks up every little thing. It picks up you behind the mic, in front of the mic, to the side. What we've done is provide you with some better microphones that you can plug in here. This is one channel audio recording only, however. There is a splitter that you can put in here, but we'll get to that in a few minutes.
when you plug
Some
your
of the
mic,
choices
goes
that you
off.
have to make, if you come over to the left side of the camcorder, you immediately have to make some choices about this white balance. Are you indoors or are you
Antenna,
outdoors?
dear.
This is, what color is white under the existing lighting conditions? That sounds odd, but different types of light throw different light colors. Like this light is supposed to be really
If it
color
doesn't work,
balanced,
just
but
switch
if you look around the room, and we'll get this hooked up to the TV set so we can see it, it actually casts a slightly reddish, orangish hue. Outside light tends to be more blue, okay? And so what this does is,
Are you still
this
on in
machine
there?
isn't very sophisticated.
You have
It
to
just
shut
has
down.
some basic choices for you to make. But in this box here, we have indoor, outdoor,
Andy.
auto, and we're gonna look at this on the
Did you
monitor
hook
so we
this
can
into
see
the-
it. And so inside here, we would either decide on auto or
Did you-
indoor. And also, the other part of this is that
Did you
outdoor
hook
light,
this into the
there just
TV in
is
the back?
lots more of it. Indoor light is
Is this
by
hooked into the
definition
TV in the back?
an imitation of outdoor light. There's less light indoors than there is outdoors, okay, except at night. But in general, when the sun's up, whether it's cloudy or a bright day, there's more light outside. So you have to tell this machine what lighting conditions are you under. You have to make that choice. You also
This-
have to
this one
just
isn't
leave this
working.
SVHS on where it is, on an auto, because that's a tape choice. It's saying, well, what kind of videotape are you using here?
Andy, just leave it and I'll hook
Okay.
it into that one.
The gain would be left in STD or standard. We check this out to you with all these knobs pushed down, okay?
We
So
had it on
if you're gonna shoot outdoor, you definitely would have to come over and make that adjustment. And then focus, what this is, we have a choice here. We can either manually focus this lens by using the focus ring at the very front of the lens, or we can put it on autofocus and watch as I pan around the
You
room.
can do it with
Can
the
you see it
switcher
trying
on,
to
yeah.
decide what it's
Just leave it,
focusing
just
on?
leave it.
Okay, there it goes. Okay, and then you can see the problem with autofocus. The problem with autofocus is if we were panning around the room right now, we would be getting all the little adjustments. We would be getting all the little adjustments that that lens is making. Okay, I'm on channel 3.
Where'd you go? Where'd he go? She's on channel 3.
And
So you check all your lights and stuff before
It's not
you
changing.
film. It's just the power's on right now. Just the power's on.
Is it antenna
I'm not
tuning?
filming
Oh.
anything, yeah. Right now, I'm just setting it up. These are decisions I would make before I would start to videotape. Because if you come around now, you can see in the viewfinder And the viewfinder's black and white, so it's not gonna really tell you what the color hue of what you're shooting is.
Filters, like I bought filters for my O1 Canon. You know, one of the reasons is prior to that, I had a Hitachi that I used, that I was getting a lot of real heavy contrast from the sun where it washed out things. Do you use filters with the
No, these
interior?
don't have any filters that come with them. We don't have any that come with them. And these do have a problem with real high contrast situations.
Same kind of problem.
Yeah, same kind of problem. You know, so we've had some aerial shooters that just, you know, people have taken them up in airplanes and they've gotten, it's just really intense, yeah.
Second question, when you were talking about autofocusing, like if you wanna, because it takes so long for something to focus in with the auto.
Uh-huh.
This is what I'm finding
I just
out.
wanna
when
see if I can turn that.
Right, it's constantly trying to
Or if you wanna go back up to telephoto,
Uh-huh.
it takes a long time for the focus to catch up with it.
Right.
Is it faster to do that by hand?
It's still preferable to learn to do manual focus under almost every condition, except for when you're basically at infinity. You're at the distance where it's not going to make any, like a dance concert or something like that. And the focus isn't going to change because the subject isn't going to change the distance between the camera and the subject. You know, that's always going to stay the same. But as soon as the distance changes between, you know, you can see it trying to focus on me, as soon as I step in, you know, it's probably about as close as it's going to go, but it needs to refocus, okay? That's the nature of the lens, that when the distance changes between the camera and the subject, then you need to check your focus. A lot of times you won't see it on a real wide shot, but as soon as you start to zoom in to a closer shot, you'll notice that things are out of focus. So, ta-da! So let's look at focus here, okay? So
What was Andy?
It was in the wrong thing, and plus it had to be on TV. There we go.
There we go. Set it up on 0. Send it up on this hand. Okay, so let's look at focus for a second then. Here's your zoom handle right here, telephoto. I can automatically, just by pushing this button, I don't have to do anything to the lens, I can zoom in as far as I can go with this camera. Okay, wide, now it's trying to autofocus is what it's doing. Okay, switch it to manual. Wide angle, I can just hit, okay, and it will move, it will zoom out. This is called zoom, okay, zoom in. Well, you really have to press on this now.
Yeah, you do. You do. It's really tight.
On Porta Prag 2.
It's real tight.
I wonder if
Battery
it's
might be
been
low.
adjusted. We're on
It
AC.
has been. It was adjusted tight.
Oh, it was? Yeah, because I know it just went into the shop, so it probably came back. Anyway, so you can see that. Now, we can also manually zoom on this camera just by taking hold of this knob here. Now, the benefit, it's almost, you know, this is considered an advantage to have an automatic zoom because once again, it's slower and smoother for the viewer for the resulting picture. But there's some times when this is definitely the effect that you want to use. You know, when you decide, yeah, it's kind of like, okay?
You can
It's like,
see that through here.
and you can see that through here. Everything that you can see on this television set, you can see through here. This television set gives you some additional information that this one will not. There's actually some printed material on this television set, so we'll go
That
into
has a
that
macro
too.
setting.
This has a macro setting. What macro means is that after a certain point, you get zoomed in as far as you can go, but you can't get that little bug on the leaf, or you can't get that crinkle in the hand, or whatever. So you can take a hold, after you've zoomed in as far as you can go, you can take a hold of this little knob right here on the zoom, pull it up, and adjust the setting. Did I miss it?
Keep going. You just about had it.
I might not even be close enough. I can't see it, so.
There
Here,
you
somebody
go.
else put their hand here, and then I can do the adjusting. Okay.
Here you go.
Nope, see, now I'm out. I'm out of the macro. Move your hand out a little bit. We might be a little bit too close.
There you go.
Are we getting there?
Yeah.
I think that's, let's see. Yes, I am. Okay.
There you go.
There. Okay, what I was doing was pulling it towards the wrong direction.
There you go, Mary, you're focused
Yeah.
there.
So the only part about this that's tricky is you want to remember to get out of macro when you're done with it, okay? And all you do is pull it over. There's a little line reading right here to 8, okay? So it says to macro, then it's that green zone. You pull out that knob, and you're in macro, and just set it back to 8.
You guys see which one that is?
The one with the M on it,
Okay. A lot of people use the Zoom a little bit. Also, I'd like
And
you
then
to
always
practice
make
focusing.
sure that you-
In order to focus on manual, and this becomes important when you
just
move
pull it
on
out
to
or something?
any other kind of equipment, basically. A lot of equipment, the better equipment in particular, doesn't have automatic focus. It only has manual focus. So the way that we focus then is we go in, we zoom in as tight as we can on Winter's shoulder, or whatever the subject might be. Take a hold of the focus ring and put her into focus. Can you see that line of her shoulder that comes into focus? And then when I zoom out, Winter will always be in focus as long as I remain the same distance from her. And as I said, it's tricky because in a zoom out, she looks like she's in focus, but if she moved, like step in towards me a little bit, and then as I zoomed in, watch what happens. Can you see what's happening now? She's out of focus. So it is important to set your focus as regularly as you might need to. As you can see here, you can't really tell that she's out of focus. It's going to be on the closer shot that you're going to be able to see that. Okay? It's a function of depth of field, but you want to set your focus and learn how to do it manually. So please go ahead and get on here and use the zoom and use the focus. And it's one of the most basic tenets of production.
Is that red lever the race account?
When did
Oh, these guys had theirs. I was going to say that theirs. But in general, the idea with the tripod is that the broader the base, the more stable, that you would only use that should you need to. Once you've gotten the legs up as high as they could go, if you needed additional height, then use the pedestal. Because the pedestal won't be as stable.
So the lower center of gravity, you want to raise the bottom part first?
when did we start doing it? I mean, was there? I guess
Just
the
a few
tape's
minutes
not
ago.
going.
Tape's still not going.
Oh,
I
okay.
haven't
So
even
it's just like bypass.
Right, it's
a
just-
whole different thing.
Mhm.
Okay.
We're still just setting stuff up.
Okay.
You know, because this is stuff you would do before you would start to roll the tape. You're still thinking about light, you're still thinking about focus, you know, what you're going to be shooting. We still haven't rolled the tape yet.
So you
But
don't,
let's-
you don't actually have to do a white balance.
No, I know, no, you don't. Isn't that interesting? Okay, so we're talking about white balance here. They're talking about what color is white under these lighting conditions. Can you go back to Winter for a second? Can you give me, oh, now look. You are not using your tripod. You're moving the camera.
Oh, you're right.
Yep. There's no reason to tighten that down. Keep that loose when you're shooting. Okay, so now you probably have a loose tripod plate, so you're going to have to be aware of that.
So
Okay,
now it
just
means-
leave it be for the moment. Okay, we'll tighten it in a second, but you would have to stop and tighten it
Would it
just to be
be
safe.
better to not lock yourself into that?
Yeah,
hand
that's
grip?
what I say. You don't really have to lock this pan at
As far
all.
as this hand grip goes here, on the Zoom, would it be better just to go over the
It
top of it?
depends on what you, everybody does it differently. It really is, I like to go over the top because I like my handle, actually I like my handle on the other side and my left hand over the top is what I prefer. But it just is gonna depend on, you know, it's something almost a little bit awkward about these, that you have the zoom handle up so high in front. Okay, but let's look at Winter for a second. Can you get me a flesh tone on there? Get me a shot of her face. Let's go ahead and loosen that back up again. Good. And that will take some getting used to, so don't feel bad about that. That's fine. Okay, now this is Winter on indoor. Okay. Then we switch to here's Winter on auto, and here's Winter on outdoor. Okay. Doesn't look like it did anything.
It
on
didn't do
outdoor.
anything.
It did here. Can you see that?
Yeah, that didn't do
Okay.
anything.
That's indoor. Can you see that it adds the bluish hue? There's a slightly bluish hue. Okay, now we're starting to get a little peachy, right? Okay. And it doesn't look like between auto, am I seeing, I guess I am seeing a slight change, little greener curtain maybe in the back there.
Agua.
So, it's up to you. Which one do you guys like better? So you're just gonna have to get used to working with this equipment. Do you prefer the auto or the indoor? setting.
Was the green color?
You prefer the
coming from the outdoor
features?
setting?
Yeah, the outdoor,
Well,
It's just like one of the munchkins for the white.
right.
I mean, if you wanted to film something like The Walking Dead or something, then you can go in the indoor, you know.
Yeah. That's kind of my feeling. I'm like, I kind of prefer outdoor, auto myself, it's more PG. But, you know, the thing is that it'd be nice, we have a color monitor that you can check out and set up with this. We have one. But it also is important, you're not always going to be able to use it. It's not going to be convenient to use it. So it's real important to go out and shoot some stuff, bring it back, take a look at it, see what you think. What did it end up looking like? How were the flesh tones? What were the lighting conditions? Okay, when we're talking about light, one of the problems we would have right now is all this is doing, this entire camcorder is registering light, just like our eyes do. Different hues of light that compose different people and environments and stuff. So if we put Winter here right in front of a huge picture window with lots of light flooding in, it's the same principle as in still photography. She's going to end up black as can be, and you're going to get this big flood of light all the way around her. The other problem you're going to have with that is that these camcorders don't know how to read two different sources of light or three different sources of light. So if you're in a room and the primary, you're either going to have to put the blinds over the windows and just go with fluorescent light, or forget the indoor light and just go with outdoor light. Okay, so figure out your lighting situation. And it doesn't have to be real complicated. I'm not trying to make it complicated for you. On the other hand, I shot, one of the first times I used these, I shot an interview, and I shut down the blinds, but they were Venetian blinds on a big bright day, and the guy was sitting in front, and my black and white viewfinder didn't register anything. I brought the tape back in, and here are these little blue streaks of halo coming through, you know, behind his head, and I was like, oops. So there's some things that you'll learn just by using them that you're not going to be able to see when you're recording. And so we suggest that you take these out the first couple times, or the first time at least, just go out and practice on them and go shoot some different situations that you think you might be interested in, then bring them back, take a look at them, and see what they look like to you. Because any piece of equipment you would ever use in video, you just kind of have to learn that particular piece of equipment. Okay, did everybody get a chance on the Zoom, the focus? You getting the focus concept? Okay, when in doubt, focus is the rule of thumb. Well, how do you actually roll this thing? Okay, there's two different ways that you can do it. One is, here are the little operating buttons right up here, and we can hit, if we just want to view the tape in the viewfinder, we can just hit play, and now you can see that it's playing what's on this tape, okay? And if we wanted to just record, you know, whatever was in front of the camcorder, we could hit play and record, and now it is recording, and in the viewfinder in the upper right-hand corner, it says record. And there's a tape roll mechanism, there's an index reading that's just going flipping from number to number. So there's a couple ways to tell the machine is in record. Okay, we're recording right now. There's a little tally light up here that's on, little red light, that's for your talent to know when the camcorder's going. And of course, being the paranoid that I always am, I always come over and have to look through the little window and make sure that the tape is rolling.
This light is either not
Okay,
working or
so I
it's
can
not
stop
on.
it, I can rewind it, I can do whatever I need to do just with using these buttons here. Now the other thing I can do is use this little plate here. And what this plate does is throw my tape operation control to my zoom handle. So if I pull this plate has three little nubbins inside of it. If I pull this plate over, now it's taking the videotape and moving it into position to be in play, record, and pause. Okay? So when I'm ready to record now, I use these two red buttons on the zoom handle. It's just a one-time
Now
push. I can
access is
push
here.
it on to start recording. I can push it again to stop recording. I can use these buttons interchangeably. Okay? I can use this button here or this button, whatever is comfortable for me. And they've designed it that way so that if you do decide to stick your hand in the zoom handle, that everything's right there.
It's still the same button. Just hit it again, and it goes off. You can see it says record in the viewfinder. It says REC when you're recording.
Well, I think that's
Is
how
this
those
other red
chips
button here also the
work
same
instead of
function?
tubes. I think
Just
they
for
all
your
work.
other, for your other hand. Let me see here. Let's turn it up there.
Is it not such an issue pointing it into a direction?
Right.
Yeah, it is.
And also
It's the
now
same
you have to
same
switch
button
over if
either
you
or.
want to back check on your
Now
tape.
it's
that you
recording.
just recorded.
Now it's
You have
stopped.
to switch
So in
over
case
to
if one
its,
button goes bad, you have
regular
a
function.
second.
You can't do that
Or it's
anymore.
easier
Or
sometimes to get
preference,
this
yeah.
one,
So
you
you
know,
take
Because
this plate,
if you're
the
using
camera
the.
pull it
tilts,
over.
so you could be
So
shooting
just-
with it in different
This is what's known
positions.
as using it in the VCR mode. So you would use it at the VCR. This is what's known by pulling the plate over, you're using it in the camera record mode. Okay, one big problem with using it in the camera record mode is that you will, again, this is a rule, you just have to go through this, you will forget that you have it in pause. And it will kick into long pause by itself by going on to standby after a few minutes. It'll get frustrated and tired. And it'll go into standby and it'll go black. Okay? And you'll go, and you have to hit standby again and it'll bring it on. But what it's telling you is it's protecting itself. Having it in pause for too long ultimately can cause difficulties with the machine. It's too much wear and tear, it's too much heat, and it's basically ready to go. So when you have that plate pulled over, you better be ready to go, basically. Okay? You really have to be ready to roll your tape. Because if you're not, the machine's going to let you know that it's not going to just hang out and wait there. Okay? It's also not good for your videotape because the tape is in contact with the heads on the drum, and it can wear a little spot. It can wear out some of the tape coating itself, can start to flick off. So, in general, those are little rules of thumb that you want to work with. So are there questions about that? Does that make sense to people? Okay. There's something tricky about this, and I want to explain it to you. One is, can you hear right here that can you listen to that? It pulls that tape off and gets it all lined up and ready to go. Pulls it out of the casing, lines it up around the heads, and it's ready to go. Okay. So what it does when you pull the plate over, listen again. It takes the tape off of the heads, rolls it back into the tape casing, and rewinds it. Have you all had that experience using home camcorders where you cut off the last little bit of the shot, the last shot that you were doing? Because it actually does rewind the tape a little bit. So you need to hit play, look in your viewfinder, and line things up to the next place. Or, and this is what we recommend, just count to 10 at the end of the shot. So just give yourself some extra video at the end of the shot. We call it slop, okay? So, and if you do that, then when it rewinds, it'll rewind 5 seconds, but you'll still have 5 seconds to cut off in the editing room. Okay, because the rule of thumb is that you're shooting in the field, but you're going to come in and you're going to put on a title maybe and some music and maybe do some real editing that don't bring in exactly what you need, okay? It doesn't give you any room to trim what you need to trim in the editing room. And this you'll understand when you get into editing, but these machines take 5 seconds of pre-roll. So if you have snow going up to exactly the moment that you want to begin your shot, these editing machines don't read snow at all. They cannot read snow. They cannot edit snow. They cannot deal with snow. So you need to have 5 seconds of recorded material, any kind of material, prior to the hello that you want, or the beginning of the shot.
Is that why
or
they use
whatever.
these things, snap things in the movies?
Uh-huh.
Is that what it
That's,
is?
well, it also gives you, that gives you takes. That's a good way to organize.
Yeah,
So
you know where you're
you
starting
are,
from,
right,
identify where you
right.
identify the take or whatever.
Yeah, and that is.
That's a
and
producer's nightmare.
You know, and if you are going to take a bunch of audio takes, if you say take 2, then count silently. Have your talent count 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Because again, you don't want to take 2 and the word. You need a little bit of room of stuff that you've shot. You need some space on the beginning of your shot and at the end of your shot. So when you come into editing, you can trim it up, and it'll be just so.
So in that slop space, you can put a verbal statement in there saying this slop, or
Right.
basically, so that you know what you're.
Right, slop and then quiet before the beginning of your take, so that it will help you in editing to not have to trim out extra words or try and clip. You don't want to go right into your talent. So, and that may not make too much sense right now, and that's
It
fine.
will.
Don't worry about it. But the very first time you'll go into editing, it will make total sense. You'll go, what
And
did I
about the
do
time we
right?"
hear you in there yelling and screaming at the
Right,
machine, we'll walk in and
right.
say, "See, we told ya."
Remember?
I have a question about the zone select.
Yes. Okay, good question. Zone select has to do with, you would only look at it and see it in your viewfinder. When you're using it, see it has this little line that connects it up to the auto. when you have an in autofocus, you can tell it, look, I primarily am gonna focus in on this area, there's some boxes in there.
There's a box.
Yeah, there's a couple sizes of boxes. So by pushing zone select, you choose different sizes of boxes, and you basically define certain areas that this will focus on.
Kind of like aperture.
No, it doesn't, I don't know, it's not aperture. It's, just basically, if you wanna take a look at here, it'll say, oh, stay primarily on the close-up, stay on the wider shot, stay on the medium shot.
Just for emphasis then.
And that will help you with that problem we were talking about, if you can, and there was a lot of different distances. If you said, oh, just stay on the close-up, it should be able to sense just the focus on the close-ups. There's a lot of ways to use autofocus. You can use it and then flip it to manual. That's handy, so that you don't have to use the focus ring. You can flip it up to auto, let it focus, and then flip it to manual again. It's up to you, whatever.
Is this how you adjust the strategy?
You know what they say about that?
Yeah,
when
but
there's not
we don't have any
shorts.
editing that
Wow.
compensates for
I feel
shutter
about
speed, so it
cameras.
doesn't make any difference. It's up to you, but it
Well, I
doesn't-
was wondering if I wanted to film some stuff off of a CRT or television. Can I use that, tape it on here, and then
That'd be
adjust it to
interesting.
the
I haven't
roll of
done
the-
it. I haven't done that. So try it.
But I
And let
mean,
me know.
And then come back and tell us, so we can tell
Do
the.
you have several options, or is it just the highlights?
No, I think it has like 3 or 4. I haven't used it myself because, as I say, most people are interested in the slow motion that you can get from it, but we don't have any means of editing it, so I haven't done it, so you could let us know. We do have auto fade just by pressing this in if you want to watch the TV.
I always try to
It's
keep
auto
one up on
video
it.
fade and audio fade. If that's helpful
That's how
to
I
you.
keep her
And
awake.
that's a nice thing to use because when you come into the SVHS suite, it's cuts only, so you don't have any fade capability. I mean, we don't have any way of producing that for you. So if you want to fade to black, do people know what that means? You see that? It's kind of cool.
That also cuts
one
your
speed.
audio.
Yeah.
You need to remember that.
It's 1 speed, yeah. So if you're gonna start your recording, what you do is, hit fade, then you would let the videotape roll. We're rolling now. Give it its 10 seconds of black, I would say, and then release it, and then it'll fade out. So it takes 3 hands.
So you can use your fade, your
You have to
fade
be an
thing?
octopus to use it that way. No, but you can do it. It just takes
You-
it.
You're saying that you could use your fade thing like in order to get that 10 seconds of swap? is
Sure,
what you're saying,
yeah,
is that
black
fade
is
thing.
fine, anything but snow is what you wanna do. So, don't give us snow, the machines won't take it. Okay.
Soon we will
Yeah,
too.
they don't like snow. Okay, questions, other questions before we go on? Okay. There's some things in your viewfinder. Your viewfinder has other information besides, oh, are we still rolling here? Yeah.
Yeah, her pretty butterfly.
Yeah. Inside it'll have an E to F reading, empty to full for the battery. Little dumb system, no offense. Okay, you'll have an SFP reading, and that's for the videotape. And then you'll have underneath there it says IN because we're set on the indoor setting. When we go to auto, there is no reading. Out, you'll have an OUT in the upper right-hand corner. So your viewfinder, no, but they're not recording, okay? That information is not. If you see a date and clock in your viewfinder, you're getting it on your recording. You just keep pushing date and clock until it disappears. But there's nothing we can do about that in editing. So don't bring it
Can't
back with
take
the
it
date
off.
and clock, yeah. There isn't anything we can do to take it
Another
off
little
of there.
hint about the batteries. On these 2 porta-packs, I have found that you'll be going along reading full for a long time. Then all of a sudden you've got one little thing that says, next 20 minutes your batteries or however long it's going to be gone. And so it looks full for a long time, then all of a sudden it'll be just about empty. So really watch that closely.
They go for about an hour, battery.
It's, what we're finding
Really
is we
varies.
have about 15 batteries, and some of them are newer than others, and the old ones are getting quite testy. And what we'd like to do is have people tell us, oh, this one only ran for 5 minutes, and we'll start to pull them. You know, we don't want people to use them, but just in the last month, people are starting to say, this battery, you know, we said it was fully charged, and it's not. But, and then we have some that'll run well over an hour. So it really depends. We really have a lot of variety right now.
It's a nice little function.
It'll be fun for you guys.
Doing outdoor stuff.
It's
and
intense.
there's some
That's why we
really
get you in
nice,
here.
really size boxes too.
There's kids playing or something.
That is
Whatever
record
it is.
review, and you can
Actually,
mark a
somebody
place on
was
your tape and go
handing
back
them
to
that
it and take a look at it by pressing that. But I haven't used that either, so you can
It
look
works.
that up.
Is that, do you just mark the place when you're recording that you wanna go back to? Or does it just
Right,
take you
yeah.
back to the last?
It's the last, it's just the last
Little
bit
bit.
you did. You have to continue to hold it down
And it'll take
in
it
order
back?
to go back all the way.
Oh, it'll take it all the way back, though, to the beginning of the last shot, but either that or
You
it'll
have to
just
hold
take
it
you
down,
back. If you
otherwise
press
it'll
it
just take you
once-
back a
okay.
couple seconds.
Is that the index feature?
The review.
Oh, the review.
It's
Oh.
right,
And here's the
Okay.
set for the
Yeah.
Oh,
date
okay.
and clock, the display.
right over there. Now he's the steward. The steward.
What about the
If you, like,
high-speed
go over
shutter?
and you wanna,
Does that just
like,
give
back
you
it up just a
faster,
little bit and then start shoot?
Right.
what's that
Don't-
function? Don't ever use it?
Don't,
Which
yeah.
one do you push with your flash?
Cause then you come in, you bring the camera in.
Well, this
when we
is
have
just a
to do
set,
it.
this would just be if you
So what
wanted
it
to
does,
have
it just
that,
speeds up
but here's the
everything?
date and
Okay.
clock reading right here, so you just keep
And if you
pressing
do
that.
switch
If I
things
press that
around, put 'em
now,
back.
Can you see just
Okay.
come up September 19th?
I mean, we check them, that's
So,
our job, when you bring them
keep
back,
pressing it
check them, but
until-
it's just easier on us if it's already
It
done.
has an
Okay.
automatic thing for the dates.
When you get into the
Either
bigger
that or
porta
somebody
packs,
who's
you
using
know,
it today
into the
set
bigger
that.
cameras,
Oh,
then
I see.
Or they
Tuck
did,
in.
or it was set to.
lots of
Yeah.
time to check your cameras.
I'm thinking today's the 19th. Right. It was probably last September that somebody did that. Okay, now, audio. You wanna pull out your mics, mic stands, and we'll actually do some recording tonight.
Mayor?
I feel like I'm just going really fast through this, so. Yeah.
What's the high-speed shutter?
That's what she was talking about, that we don't have any capability.
Yeah,
I
thanks.
mean, I'll say something.
Yeah.
I'm sure, I'm not nervous about that. I just wanna make sure
Mm-hmm.
that it was kosher with you.
I'm wondering if you could do that and do the fade in each image. Can you use the high-speed shutter? Use the
Sure.
fade in there, you just aren't going to be able to edit it.
If you get
Actually, high-speed
57
shutter
is not
visually doesn't, it doesn't really affect what you see through your viewfinder at all, or
But it
what
is-
you pick up. But it does work if you have high-speed, capability in your editing system, that
Which-
can pick it up. Yeah, the only thing you've noticed here is there is a slight, kind of a little teeny weeny blip if it's on high-speed shutter. From here, you know, if you have it on
Oh,
the
okay.
different, the higher speed.
But are you going to get it on your finished product?
Sure. Yeah, you get that little blip. Whatever you get in your original recording, it goes straight on through the editing system. So if you have any problems in your original recording or any decisions like that that you would make unconsciously or consciously, whatever, yes, it would follow all the way through. There's nothing we can do to fix anything up, basically, is the rule of thumb. Okay, we can't take off the date and time,
So you can put your
we
mic
can't
back.
stop the little blips from the high
So what happens if you have a little mic, table or something, and you need a little platform right here, so you can put
Cut
your microphone.
only.
Books or pens or whatever.
That's all we got. So, any effects would have
Come in
to
with your own purse and just have
Teenager.
The
You
other,
provide duct tape.
systems that Three-Quarter
We
Reach
duct tape
has
it
a
looks like a
little
Christmas
CME
tree.
visual effects generator, which is really probably a good
Centerman.
solid one step down from a neural system.
You know.
Because all it does is it takes
And
a
so we're
freeze
gonna get a
frame,
lot of,
a digitized freeze
Yeah,
frame, and
exactly.
then
We wanna
and
get
then
it from
fades
just
that
from teenagers'
out
point of view.
to the next picture. So it
And,
doesn't look
and then what we wanna do
exactly
is
like
make it a
a
monthly
visual,
series.
but it gives you all sorts of, it does all that gross stuff like bounces the picture and actually one of the cool
So
things
if you're
about it is
interested,
it does black and white
I'll get you
editing,
involved
which
in
is
it.
really nice. And
Please
it does
get that
some
camera
nice
off of me.
things. It does some film effects, you know, where you have the cropping, the black margin at the
Here?
top, the black margin and the bordering.
I hate it. It's 30 pounds.
PME, 450. Black. Oh, I don't
Believe me, I
know.
don't need
I
30
call it
pounds.
I don't know what that's called. Yeah, But it really, so it does some nice things, but it also does some really, you know, I mean, you only want to use effects, they have to be motivated by something as the rule of thumb, you know? And what
Who's
we
cable
find is that, and this is true for myself too, you go in there the first time to do whatever, PSA, and it's like, whee, you know? Because it's really push button, it's so easy to do, and you end up with something that looks like, there's no style to it, you know, there's no, I mean, it's just like, yippee! On to the next shot, on to the next shot.
Interview who?
The 1,005.
Oh, you come interview him.
This is, and you know,
Skip.
I certainly don't know a whole lot of, I mean,
Okay,
I've
I'll be
used
on the
these a
microphone,
couple
but
of
don't
times.
dare
So
turn
as
me on.
people use them like Carrie's
Oh,
using
on
them a
that
lot,
camera.
then I learn things
Okay.
about them.
So
And they're
how
a
do you
little bit
feel
different.
about being the 1,000th person here through MCAT?
Okay, did we get out our microphones? You guys have your mic out. How did we do here?
Don't
Don't
know.
know. Like this. Come on, let's give it a start.
When you would want to use it.
Well, that's good. Let's see. Now, wait. What kind of questions should I ask you? Andy, you tell me the questions and I'll ask them. Where do you go to school at?
Okay.
Cool. Then you know Ron Wheeler? Biology teacher Ron Wheeler?
Oh, you will somehow.
Beard?
Well, yeah.
Oh, you will.
For the,
Someday.
see, it's
And
for,
you'll regret it.
No,
He's
he's
our,
a wonderful
president
person.
of the
super
board of
still,
directors.
super still advanced in slow motion.
So
You know how
go
they have that
through-
big
go
cool
through
stuff. I mean, I
the-
wish we did have it.
The school and
Because it
say,
would give
where's
us some
Ron
effects
Wheeler?
capabilities
And then you
that
tell him
we
you took
don't.
MCAT training and he'll be your buddy for life.
Well, it's not because we don't have the editing.
And what's your full name?
If we had the editing, it would just.
Daniel.
So if you haven't, you know,
Okay.
some of the
And how old are
essays.
you?
Was that
homework
the
courses
parents?
would have-
Yeah.
So you're in
It's pretty
video.
loud. How about like, it seems to like have an auto level on it or something. They weren't.
It shows
They
all
don't
your
have it,
minutes.
just one second.
Ninth grade?
Oh.
Cool, I was
If you
right.
wanna edit
Right.
it, you here or anywhere, you have to use.
Remember our conversation
So I don't know
today?
if that's through here.
Yeah.
About those little boys who
You have
wouldn't let me get to work today.
sound anyone?
I had a
We
car
have
part of the game.
lavalier microphones, we
driving in
have
front of me
a
today,
shot
going
sound to
5
you.
miles an hour, and they're waving at me going,
It's
hi. And I'm like, I have
Yeah.
to work
Yeah.
now. They did. They were like, having so much fun. I'm going, I went for a run. I'm like, you're getting good old times. And finally I went like this and I pointed back because there were like 10 cars behind. So I'm like, guys, you're holding up. And we're going, Hickman Lake down
Explain
there.
the theory of evolution, 25 words or less.
Talking about it. I'm so mad. Oh, honey.
Okay, use it, you guys. Now we'll take, actually, we're gonna do a couple interviews. We have to interview the 1,000th person. We have to do that.
Yes, I came to MCAT tonight so that I could learn to use the VHS-S.
The VHS what?
It's tied to
We're training.
the Panasonic here.
Right. Say something profound into that microphone, please.
I thought there was an obscenity rule here.
Carrie, do you wanna talk about, framing?
Do I want to use, I'm not,
Carrie, here, talk about framing.
framing.
Speak to me.
Oh, Lord. My idea of framing or the proper.
Political framing or camera
Okay,
framing.
we'll discuss the two different types of framing. Actually, the framing that I think Mary's talking about is you watching your headroom and, okay. In TV,
Why don't you use
there's
this
a
camera
little.
here and show us?
Oh, good, I don't have to be on.
There you go again.
Yeah, right,
Okay.
you're in the right place at the right time.
This person, we'll do this person who's doing this camera. The eye was a great effect. What Mary's talking about with framing is this. What looks wrong with that picture to you?
Andy's
All you see is her head.
Alright, I think I'm gonna be sick.
Right. So the
I like
proper
the
way
lighting.
to have this picture frame would be You watch your headroom, which is your room from the top of the head to the top of your monitor, your screen. Oh, I'm gonna get back to you.
This is like a scene from Deliverance, isn't it? You and the cameras.
Yeah. And you always want to watch this because the average person does not really understand why it's uncomfortable to watch a show, but I'm sure, as I have, many of you have probably watched a show and thought, this is like really hard to watch, and you don't really know why, but a lot of times you'll have people will take this kind of a shot. I forgot your name. Thank you. They'll have like this, and it kind of leaves you with. Could you stand up straight for a second? Thank you. Look that way. It kind of leaves you thinking, what's he looking at, and where's the rest of him? You know, it's just kind of, it's a real uncomfortable shot. What you want to do is you want to have plenty of nose room for him. You don't want to take him clear, you know, like this, but you want to have nose room there to where you can see that there is indeed something that they're actually looking at. You know, you can see that in your mind's eye. And a more comfortable shot would be like this, to get, you know, I don't know what this is called, just below the bust and up shots.
Mid-torso.
Mid-torso, yes. That's what that is.
Portrait viewers.
Yeah.
You're
And
talking about
always the other
composition.
thing, yeah, virtually that's what we're talking about. The other thing is when you are zooming, now, this is a real good shot right here of him filming the wires on the floor. Cool. Now watch what happens when you zoom out. What's wrong with that? When I zoomed out? Now watch the difference in what I do. Okay, there's the shot. Now watch. You tilt as you zoom out, you know, and then, and that takes practice, just learning, you know, feeling the camera and knowing, you know, what's comfortable and how fast a zoom you should take and stuff. But you always want to remember to tilt as you zoom out, and the same with zooming in, to tilt up.
You're maintaining about the same amount of white
Right.
space about his head at all times that way.
The general rule of thumb is the eyes in the upper third of the screen, okay? So you don't want to center the eyes or center the head on the television or on your screen. You want the eyes in the upper 2/3 of the screen.
Right.
It's okay to cut off the top of the head if you need to. It's not okay to cut off the chin. It looks really funny. They're talking and their
See?
chin's flapping on the bottom, okay? It's
That
going
is
to be
not proper.
important as you progress through MCAT to learn close-up, medium, wide shot, and what those things mean, because we're going to use them on the studio cameras here, and that's something that we do in the studio workshop. In general, you want to fill your screen with your subject. The viewer isn't that interested in the environment unless it's a fascinating environment, unless you have purposefully designed your environment to be the focus. You can have really bad video. You can have this little teeny person in this huge screen and have good audio, and the audience will still understand what's going on. You can have the best video in the world and have shitty, not such great audio, and nobody's going to understand it. People are going to turn it right off, okay? So you really have to go into whatever you're shooting and kind of think it through and see if you are shooting an interview, something like that, do you need to move a plant or a poster or something into the area to fill some of the space. The other thing you'll notice is between two people, can you see that these two people in reality are fairly close together? When on the TV screen, two people have to be very close together to look like they're close together, because TV creates space, okay? So in an interview situation, if they're normally the way this fellow and I can communicate perfectly the distance that we are from each other, but in TV land, it would look like we are miles apart, okay? So you actually have to fill the space a little bit. You either have to fill it with your subjects or fill it with something else.
Another thing is, don't be afraid. Don't let composition and stuff be a barrier to you, depending on what it is you're shooting. Because there are times when an odd shot
Much easier, huh?
really adds to your video. And don't be afraid to try things. You know, don't go, oh, Mary and Carrie told us that we can't do that. You know, just play around and have fun with it.
So did you all figure out that your audio only works when that plate is pulled over? Did you figure that out?
What was wrong with that?
Because while the video will play through to the viewfinder just fine when it's not operating at all, just by having power turned onto it, the audio doesn't connect up to the videotape recording devices until you're in the play, record, pause mode. Okay? So that may be a little freaky. The first time you plug it in and you're not getting any audio. Okay, audio, we had a question earlier. These are omnidirectional mics, okay? And then omnidirectional is global, basically. Then we have lavalier microphones, which are lapel microphones, and we'll ask you when you call up to reserve the equipment what kind of microphone you would like. That's an omni, I think. I don't know, I'd have to look it up and see. We also have what's known as a shotgun microphone. A shotgun is basically to point just like a finger, okay? And it is very, very nice on any kind of production. We encourage you to work in groups or work in pairs, okay? Because it's a lot of equipment to lug around, a lot to think about, but also it's nice to split up the audio and the video responsibilities so somebody comes in and they're just thinking about audio and they're just getting audio set up. We also have these floor stands. Oh, where'd they go? They usually live over there. Oh, I know, they're out of production. We have some mic floor stands for you. We have a boom and we have a gooseneck, okay? So, and when you call us up and reserve equipment, we'll say, do you want a lavalier? Do you want this? Do you want that? Unless it's just totally crazy here, in which case we're like, you have to think of those things. But we will usually try and prompt you into thinking about audio. Because I had a friend who she was just getting started in video, and she shot this wonderful series over at the Institute for Humanities and Medicine. And the video was all fine, but you could not understand one word of the audio. And it ran on MCAT. I mean, we run anything that's turned in, you know, by any video producers that's suitable. But we got some calls about that of some people frustrated saying, God, this was such a good program, and look at these great speakers up here, and we can't understand a word. You know, well, she's now gone on, she's done lots of them now, and she's really figured it out. But it does take a little bit of forethought to try and figure it out. Okay,
Did you talk about the downfalls with lavs?
No, what's the downfalls with lav?
If you have a subject that is moving very much, I wouldn't suggest using a lavalier because anything that they do, any movement at all will be picked up, and that can be real irritating because you can't get that off of your audio.
Yeah, I used to work with a cameraman. I worked at MQTV for years, and I had a cameraman who drove me crazy because it would take us for hours, years to do setup. You know, like we do lighting and we do audio and then we do camera and we do all this stuff, and I'd be like, dun, 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 dun. You know, you're in somebody's home and you're gonna do an interview for a documentary or whatever it might be. And now I realize, you know, how good he was and how good he really is. Now he works for PBS over in Seattle. You know, I mean, he's really good because he was so meticulous, because he would take all the time that he wanted and needed. And sometimes, you know, we'd get going on something, he'd say, stop, we're going to do this again. I mean, you really are a presence. I think it's better to go in a more assertive manner and to be part of what's happening than to pretend to go in and say, oh, I'll just stand over here at the side.
Yeah, you
and
can't
I won't
do
really
that.
get what I want. I'll go to all this trouble to get there, get the equipment, but okay, I'll just be over here and okay, if that mic's in your way, forget it or whatever. It's better to say, look, if you don't mind, I'm gonna, you know, set it up this way, and if you don't mind you wearing this mic, it's easier for me. I mean, you gotta ask for what you want, or you're not gonna get it. And that's right.
And there may be times when you just have to point blank say, this is what I have to have or I can't do this.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and do 2 interviews. Everybody's all lined up over here. Okay, so let's get a camera person and an audio person on each camera, and let's get, where's our 1000th person? The fellow who's going to be interviewed, and the person who's going to interview.
Not me.
Yep. Oh, good Lord, Ray. Oh, I'm sorry.
I'll get back with you. I'll put some in a tonic water.
Okay, so, and we're gonna do the whole thing, and I'm gonna direct, so I'm gonna tell you what to do. And the
Okay, I
first
can
thing
do
I
it
want
from
you to do
this
as a
view.
camera operators, I'd like you to
Trying
set
do
your
it, you don't say the
focus,
right
please.
thing.
So camera operators, step up and set your
Go
focus.
ahead and sit, and I won't even be on it. See, they can get my back, my red hair. That'll work.
Over the camera, over the shoulder shot?
Yeah.
Don't you have to have your fellow standing up?
Got it.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Unless you
I need a
want,
microphone.
Yep.
certain
Mic person? These have automatic recording levels for the microphone, so they won't always, when you get into our more sophisticated gear, you do have to set your own recording levels.
Hello, hello.
Now, when you get into that, you have things, meters and so on that you're looking at.
Right.
What is this in my head?
Okay, you're not getting anything.
This one, just, you're okay.
You have to be very close together.
I know, I'm trying to get this
Okay.
on.
And he should take his hat off, shouldn't he?
Yeah, take theirs too. Now, with those microphones, because they're omnidirectional, they're cool because you can just hold them in the same place and pick up equally if they're the equal distance from, and try not to bang those together because we'll hear
Are
it.
you giving us some kind of form on doing an interview?
No.
kind of?
Pardon?
Our favorite
Is
thing.
are you showing us form?
No,
No,
not
we're
really.
just doing
Yeah,
practice.
yeah. But you don't want to wag the microphone, and you don't want to rub your hand on the mic, anything like that, and you don't want to blow into the mic. That's the worst thing. I don't know where that started, but people are tap it. You don't want to tap it.
I don't think it's on. I just don't like the music people do.
I know, it drives me crazy. We have people sitting. Okay, now we're going to begin this, camera people, we're going to begin this shot on a fade up. So you're going to have to start recording, you'll fade out and leave us 10 seconds of black. And Winter, when you get the cue from me, could you give the hand cue to them? So just drop your hand and tell them when to start. Okay, talent, you're going to be watching Winter here because she's going to give you your cue of when to begin. And you're going to speak directly to each other and not to the camera. That's attractive. That's better.
No, I shouldn't have it in there.
Okay, stand by, quiet on the set. Are you the audio person? So are we gonna pretend you have a shotgun mic?
Okay.
Okay. That's what they do. That's right.
No, it's soap
There
operas, but
there
you
are
see the
booms.
microphone coming in.
Okay, stand by. Okay, roll tape and fade out. Or the other way around. You decide, but I want you to come up on black when you roll tape. Okay, give me 10 seconds of black. Okay, when you're ready, fade up. Fade up, fade up. Okay.
Hello there, I'm here tonight with, what was your name? Okay, this is our 1000th person here at MCAT to go through our training workshop. And how old are you, Dan?
15.
Okay, what school do you go to?
Hellgate.
Man of many words, aren't you? How do you like school?
Not very well. It's boring. Well, so.
Okay, give me a close-up.
Do you have a favorite teacher?
No.
Okay. How about a favorite subject?
Lunch.
Okay. Why is it that you're here at MCAT tonight?
I think it's the backlight.
Okay. Do you have any ideas on projects or shows that you might be wanting to do here pretty soon?
Like, I might want to record the football games for Hellgate and stuff like that.
Cool. Do you have? Do you have friends that you might think might be interested in coming down here and going through this training?
Yeah. It's on auto now.
If you're gonna be on my show, you have to.
But see, it's still
I'm
doing
gonna be
it.
on your show.
No, I'm teasing. Let's see. What else can I see? Do you have any brothers and sisters?
Yeah, my sister.
Yeah, this isn't
23
necessarily
lives
what
in-
we're recording, but it's what we're seeing.
Hey, way cool. That's way cool. So then that makes you 7 years younger
Yeah.
than your sister? Cool. See, I have a brother that's 5 years older than me.
25 years old.
20 years older than me. Anyway.